Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. So today we will be talking about the statistical package for social science. So in this video specifically I'll be focusing on how to solve the SPSS questions that you get in exam, because in MBBS in third year we have this community medicine practical where we get 10 marks SPSS question, and you don't need to go in very depth about this. Just surface knowledge is more than enough for it. So without further ado, let's get started. So in SPSS, whenever the question comes, there are two types of the variable in SPSS. One is categorical and the scale variable. So SPSS is usually used for like research purpose, whenever you are writing the statistics, whatever is related with the community medicine is related for that. I will not be explaining all those things. Let's just get to the main and the core part of it. So core of it is that it has got two categories, that is categorical and scale. The variables that we are given here are categorical and scale. So what does it mean? Categorical means these variables, they are of two types, which is nominal and ordinal. That means we give a value. So we are given a value that represents the categories but with no any ranking. Okay, and ordinal means it gives values, the values that represents categories. These are the values that represents categories with some ranking. Suppose there is name. Okay, you will ask the name whenever you are going for a research. You are asking the name of that person. So when you are asking the name of the person, that kind of variables, they are usually placed in the categories called categorical, and inside of it also nominal, because it's just a representation of the categories. Okay, there is no intrinsic ranking. Your name is Ram and her name is Sita, that doesn't mean that Ram is superior to Sita. Okay, there's no measurement, nothing, it's just a category. So name, gender, okay, smoker, non-smoker, race, eye color, blood group, which we cannot measure, and they are just the categories. Okay, we keep it in nominal. Next one is ordinal, means there is some ranking but it's not like measurable. Suppose your socioeconomic status, means we can classify socioeconomic status as mild, moderate, severe. Okay, there is some ranking but we cannot divide, we cannot multiply those things. Okay, that's like whenever you are just marking it under these categories of mild, moderate, severe, can you divide moderate with severe? No, right? It is a it does it is just a category, it's not any measurable value. It moderate means it can be anything. Okay, severe means it can be anything. So it is just a category. Education level, be you suppose it's like higher secondary, bachelor's, or master's level. These are the categories, they have some ranking. The master's level is higher than bachelor's, but it's not something which is measurable. Okay, it's not something which we can, like as I said, doesn't comes under a scaling level. Whatever you can scale with a scale, it is not that. Okay, that is why it comes under ordinal value. That's it. So very clearly remember, anything that is categorical, which is not something that is measurable with scale or any parameters, that comes under this ordinal and nominal value. And especially in nominal there is nothing, no ranking, but here there is some kind of ranking. Then next one is scale. So in scale also, that is one thing that is measurable. We have two types, that is interval and ratio. Interval means it is a number and measurement, and the differences between the 2 points are equivalent. Suppose I have given the example, difference between 90 degree Fahrenheit and 80 degree Fahrenheit is 10. Okay, and similar is with the 30 degree Fahrenheit and 20 degree Fahrenheit, like the times, the states, there is some interval between them, and they are like similar, they are constant, and also these are measurable, and these are in numbers. Okay, these are in numbers. Whereas the ratio, this is like something where it is a number, it is a measurement, but there is a presence of the absolute zero value. Okay, and the 2 points may not be equivalent also here. Okay, all the time. So what does it mean? Suppose you can say there can be a 0 kg. Okay, some things can be 0 centimeter. If the car is not moving, that can be 0 speed. There might be no crime rate, so there can be 0 crime rate. So it is a number also. If there is zero means it's a number, it's a measurement also. Okay, we can know whether it is multiplying or not, we can know it is subtracting or not, we can subtract these things and all. So this comes under ratio, all these things, like age also. Okay, Suppose a child, if I'm 25 years old and someone is 50 years old, then I can say this is or he is double of my age, okay, or I am half of his age. So that's why it comes in a ratio. Whereas interval, it just means it's like a time thing which is like measurable numbers and all, but it cannot be like divided or you know subtracted to get a value. Okay, there's no significance of those things, so this comes under here. After knowing these things, what I want you to know is, first you have to definitely understand what is categorical and what is a scale variable. Only when you know what falls in categorical and what falls in scale variable, then you can proceed to step 2, that is what kind of test to do. Okay, what kind of a test to do to find out to do them for the measurement. So now we'll go for the test part. So if both the sample are scale variable or numerical, then we will go for purity test or correlation test. The condition for purity test and correlation test are also different, which we will discuss later on. Both the variables are if categorical, then we go for chi-square test, C chi-square test. Those are categorical like name and gender. Okay, then we go for categorical test. Now scale and categorical means if one is scale and another variable that is given in your question is categorical, then for such questions we'll go do independent sample t-test. If you would remember this, I think your whole SPSS question will get solved very easily. Just remember this: provided the samples both are scale or both are variables, or one of them is a scale and another is categorical, according to that you have to run the test. Very simple. This is the step 2. Now the step 3 is solving the question, that is actually inputting the data and then getting the output from it, which I am showing right now. But before that, let's look at the question number 1. I will put on lots of questions here and we will solve that question, and while solving only I will explain it so that you will learn how to solve it, and I will give the explanations with those questions only. So that's it. So let's go for question number 1. So now since you have looked up the question, now we're gonna do according to it. So first thing it says is input the following information in SPSS. So there you can see this is the SPSS. I'm sure you know to open the SPSS. Now from there will be two things. It is given here, data view and variable view. So while we are put in the data, we will use it the variable, we will do it in the variable view. So we are putting a variables, right? So we will choose variable view, and there you can see there is name, this type, there is width, the decimals, label, values, missing columns, align, measured, and row. So from here, whatever the things that is given in our question, we will write it serially. First thing, like in that picture it was given children number, so we will write here children number. Okay, so first thing it was given there was children number. I will just write it in a small short form. Usually if there is a long topic, we write it in short form here, and later on we write the complete full form in the case of label. Okay, so I have written here children number, then I have written here gender is given. Next thing, presence, paste score like this, and then okay, so sorry, you cannot put an space. Okay, you cannot keep spacing between the two words, so you have to write it all together. So I T C. Okay, intelligent test score. Then next one is marks in examination, so I will write this marks in exam. Okay, so now type, children number is type numeric, it's the numeric of 1 2 3 4 5, so we will give a categories of numeric. Gender male female, so we will assign numbers to them. Okay, for male we will write 1 and for female we will write 2, so it is also becomes numeric. So for ITC, that is examination intelligent test score, so that is also we have to ITS score means ITS. No, so I am mistakenly written here ITC. So for intelligent test score, it is also numeric form. Marks in examination is also a numeric form, so everything will be numeric. With it is 8. With means like numbers which are as long as 8 in number. Okay, suppose you are writing 8 times. So that long amount of number we can accumulate here, so it is enough. Okay, decimals means you don't need any decimal here, so you can just do 0. Okay, so now while you are labeling, I have written in short form, so I will write it in a long form. That is children number, gender, I don't have to label it, ITS, intelligence test score, and this is marks in examination. Okay, so values, what values we're gonna give for gender only. So in values, especially if you're writing like yes or no, male and female, so you have to mention smoker and non-smoker, then we give one value for smokers, two value for non-smoker. Or maybe there are lots of ethnicity like Brahmin, Kshetri, Dalai, suppose here this ethnicity, and there are different categories in ethnicity also. So that time we can give one value to Brahmin, two value to Kshetri, in that way, so that you can know, okay, which value has been assigned to whom. So 1 means we give one value to the category male in gender. Okay, then we have to go for add. Then we give value to gender female. Then we will give them add, and then okay. So anything, okay, that is okay in one category. If there are other numerous category, then we give value to them in numeric form, like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, so that we don't get confused, or we don't have to make it, it doesn't become lengthy. Okay, like suppose you have to write gender, and then suppose you want to write about Kshetri, then you have to write Kshetri everywhere. Suppose instead of that, if you just give the number assigned to it to, then we can understand that okay, it is Kshetri. So that's the reason why we label it. Then missing no columns 8 is okay. Align means, so how you want this to happen, like in the center or in the right or in the left. So that's the thing, anything is okay. Measurement means, so children number is nominal because it is just it is a ranking, but it is not a measurement, right? So that's why we write it as nominal. Also this also gender, it has categories, so it's a nominal. ITS and marks in examination, it is a measurement, we can measure it, we can double it, we can half it, so it's a numeric form, it's a numeric value automatically, so we write it in scale. That's it. After completing the after writing everything, after writing all the variables, now we will go for data view. And in data view, now see, here you can see children, here you can see gender, here you can see ITS, that means intelligent test score, and then this mass and examination. See how you can see here, it is given, name is given there, the label is given there. Okay, whenever I point towards it, or in this column. Okay, so in children number, I'll fill it. Suppose in the picture that has shown you question, it is given 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 up to 20. So I will just fill it like 1 2 3 4 7 8 9. Now you can see I have filled the children number. Okay, now gender, what we can do is, instead of writing male, female and everything, we can just write 1, that we have assigned for gender male. So if I just write 1 and press enter, male, it will automatically come male. Next one is also male, so I'll write 1, I'll press enter, male. If there is female, I'll write 2, the label, then female. Okay, in this way we will fill the form. In case of intelligent test score also, whatever the value it is given, we will fulfill that 7, then 6 is given, so 6, then 5 is given, so 5, then 7 is given, so we'll go for 7, then 8 is given, we'll go for 8, then 9 is given, we'll go for 9, and so similar way we will fill marks in examination also. See, now I have filled the form also. Okay, now let's look at the questions one again. So what is the first question is, input the following information in SPSS, which we have done very well. Okay, if you have any confusion, then you can comment down. So see, the main purpose of this video is for me to tell you how you will proceed with different kinds of tests and how you will solve the questions. So I'm not explaining these things very much because these are just for basic understanding. In case of in name, whatever the categories you have been given, children, gender, etc, marks in examination, anatomy, pathology, whatever things are you have been in question in a table form, we have to mention that. After that, type, you look what it is numerical value or not. If it is numerical value, you write numerical. If it is not not numerical value, then you will go for other categories. With it is already given like by default, so yeah, you don't have to change that at all. Decimals also you don't need until and unless you have anything that comes in decimal, you can keep it in 0. Level, suppose you have written anything in short form, then you have to explain that, you can write it in a longer form like I have done here. Okay, value, so usually if you are given in a category there are like 2 or 3 values. Suppose there is a person who is consider there is a RAM and you have to know whether it is a smoker or non-smoker. So for a smoker you will write value 1, for non-smoker you will give value 2. For like gender, in gender there is male and female, so for male gender I have given 1 and for female gender I have given it 2. Okay, because it's that's a rule and it helps in easy analysis and then data selection and writing and everything. So that's it. Columns and then alignment, anything, it doesn't matter. Measurement, nominal means which has got ranking or which has got some categories, but it's not very like a scale kind of thing. But ITC and marks and examination means you are comparing, right? There is comparison between ITC and marks and examination, so that we have written it as a scale variable. And then other thing is input and data filling is here. That's it. Now we'll go for second question, which says find the average marks of intelligent test score of male and female. So it asks for find the average marks of the intelligent test scores of males and female. So what does the question says is average, okay, of what? Males and female test score of male and female. So what is test score? So you can see here what we have written, test score has numerical value, right? It is a scale. Okay, test score is a scale. And what is this female, male and female? They are gender, they comes in nominal value, so they are two different. They are categorical value and this one is a scale value. So whenever we get a categorical and a scale value and we have to find the relation between them, the average marks, then what we have to go for is independent t-test. So since one of the variable is an intelligent test score, which is a scale, and next variable is male and female gender, which is nominal category, so what we will go for is independent t-test. You don't have to think anything. Okay, just look what kind of categories they belong to. If they are nominal and scale, they're two different, that means independent t-test. Now we'll go for independent t-test. How? We will go for analyze. So in this upper part, okay, you can see there is analyze. Then from analyze we will go for the, so there is descriptive, there are so many things. We go for compare, means because we have been asked to find out the average. Then we will go for, you can see there is one sample t-test, independent sample t-test, summary independent sample t-test, pure sample t-test, one by ANOVA. We will go for independent sample t-test. We will click here. Then we have got test variable and grouping variable. What we are testing is we are testing the intelligent test scores. Okay, intelligent test scores between what? Between the gender. So gender will be the grouping variable. In this gender, what we have here is defined group. So we have male, so we will write it 1. We have group 2, that is 2, that we have assigned for female. That is why I said we have to level it. After that we will go continue, and then we will go for okay. Okay, everything is okay. So you will go for independent sample t-test. In independent sample t-test you get test variables and grouping variable. What the thing that will put in test variable is that it's something that we are going to measure. So we are going to measure what? We are going to measure the intelligent test score. That's why we will put it here. On whom we are going to measure, it is a gender, so that's a grouping variable. So that's we are putting it over here. After that we will put okay. So yeah, here is our result. So male and female, okay, there is male and female gender. We have got independent sample t-test. So there is a mean of 6.55 score and there is a mean of 6.44 in the female. There is standard deviation also we can get. Okay, from we got mean and standard deviation also. So that's how we can know the average marks of intelligent test scores in male and female is 6.55 in male and 6.44 in the female. Okay, so if the question had given a standard deviation, that also we can calculate like this, similar way, similar process, and then you can write a standard deviation 1.809 and 1.590 respectively. Now the next question that we have here is, has the student done well in exams according to the intelligent test score? So you have to compare the intelligent test score. Okay, let me, we have to compare. Now what we have to compare is the intelligent test scores with the marks. So according to the intelligent test scores that we have got, do we think that students are doing well according to that. Suppose some student got intelligent test scores of what they have got here, like they have got intelligent test scores of 10. So are they performing according to it, or are they lower than it, or are they above it? So when we are finding such thing, we will do, because they both fall in the same variable. See, what they fall is a scale variable, both of them is in a scale. So what we have learned till now is, if both the variables they are scale, then we will go for the correlation test or purity test. Okay, correlation test or the purity test. In purity test, what we will apply purity test only when it is given in pure. Suppose there is a person, how many people got treated, how many people got relieved by paracetamol. So temperature before fever and temperature after fever, so both of them they can be compared, they comes in a pair. So in such cases we will go for purity test. But now we have to find is the correlation between the intelligent test scores and the marks in the exams. Okay, it is not in pair, they both are independent things. Intelligent test score is an independent thing, marks in the exam is independent thing. So when we are dealing with such things, when both of them are different, then we will go for the correlation test. Okay, so let me revise it once again. When both the variables are scale, we will go for purity test or the correlation test. Now between the two, if there is something that comes in pairs, like before and after, in situation something like before and after, then we will go for purity test. But if both of them are independent, then we go for correlation test, like here. Both of them, they are the independent thing, they are the independent existence, and for them we will go for the correlation test. If instead of these things we had things like before accident or after accident, okay, or before vaccination and after vaccination, what is the situation, then we will have gone for the purity test for the comparison. But this is not that situation, that's why we will go for correlation test. Now let's go for data view. What we'll do for correlation test is analyze, then you have your correlate as an option. We'll go correlate, and we have got two categories, so we go for bivariant. So first we will categorize is the intelligent test score, and then there is the marks in the examination. Both of them we are about to find the correlation, then we will go for okay, we will get our value like this. So what you can see here is the correlation. The above one was the t-test, that is the correlation test, and we can get here the examination score, that is 4.95. okay, so what we have learned till here is, in correlation, if value is +1, then it is positive correlation. 0 it indicates no correlation, and minus represents negative correlation. So if the value is between 0 to +1, then it is a positive correlation. If a value is 0, it is negative, and if it is from 0 to -1, it is a negative correlation. Okay, in this way we will analyze the correlation value. Now we will say the strength of correlation. If the value lies between 0.7 to 1, it is a strong correlation. Okay, if the value lies between 0.3 to 0.7, it is a moderate correlation, and if the value lies less than 0.3, then we call it as a weak correlation. Okay, next thing is we can find the significance value there, which will be equal to 0.05. If it is more than 0.05, it is insignificant, and if it is less than 0.05, then we call it as a significant value. This is something that we have to remember. We don't have to go in detail. We have to look to two things, that is correlation value and significance level. If it is more than 0.05, it is insignificant. Less than 0.05, it is significant. And if in correlation the value is whether positive, negative, or 0, that is all we have to see. And to know whether it is strong, moderate, weak, I have given here the category. So now what we can see here is, we will see for the significance value, which is 0.027. Then we will look at the value, that is the Pearson correlation value, just above of it. Okay, so what it is, there is 0.495. so that is why this is the correlation value that we are gonna analyze. Okay, first go for significance value, then the value that is just above to it, we will look it as Pearson correlation. Here also you can see both of them are similar. Okay, intelligent test score also 0.495, and Pearson correlation here it is 0.495. okay, and intelligent test score it is 1, both of them they become similar. Okay, so looking at this, both of them is a similar kind of thing. So what is our value? Our value is 0.495. We will only take the value that is near to it, above or below the significance value. So 0.495. So now what weight does this fall? Does it fall in C? It is positive, so definitely there is a positive correlation. Okay, that is enough. But if you want to get more, then you have to know whether it is moderate, whether it is severe, or whether it's low. So if the value was between 0, since the value is between 0.3 to 0.7, which is 0.495, so we can say there is a moderate correlation. We have just looked at a category, we have just studied the category to classify it, so according to that it falls in the moderate. What we can give a conclusion is, from the above data we can say that the intelligent test score and marks in examination was moderately and positively correlated, with correlation value being 0.495 and the p-value being 0.27, which is less than 0.05, so it is positively correlated. That's all. That's what we have to write down here. Said that the relation is significant at that 0.05 level, so it is, since less than it is significantly correlated. If it was more than that, it will have been unrelated, so that's insignificant. So that's about it. This is something I have this something that's all in part 1. We will look more of it in the part 2. We will solve more question, and more the question we will solve, more the idea we will get. This was just for the independent sample test and correlation test. I hope that you liked this video. You like this video. If you did, then please do like, share and subscribe to my channel, and do watch the